Yeah, on 7th December 1972, it was directed by Lakshmi Krishnamurthy and Yamuna Prabhu, with the music by B.V. Karanth, and the cast was as follows. So I'm just reading the characters. So there was Bhagwat, actor 1, Hayavadan, actor 2, Devdutt, Kapila, Padmini, doll 1, doll 2, Kali, and the child. Okay, so one sec. Yeah, sure, Avik. So yeah, Act One. I'll do the stage directions for now. I'll assign characters. Okay, who all are here? Everyone wants to read, right? Is someone here just to spectate? You can put it on. Put it. Can you hear me, guys? मेरी आवाज आ रही है? Guys, am I audible? Can you hear me, guys? Uh, wow. Okay, that's a bit problematic. Am I audible now, guys? Uh, am I audible now, guys?
Yes, yes.
Oh, thank God. चलो मैं जल्दी से we were okay for everyone who's joined. I think Yash and Avik have joined us right now. Guys, hi. Uh, I'm just sharing the script. Yeah, can you see it? Okay, perfect. So, hi guys, we're just gonna start with the reading. So this is how it basically goes. I'll keep assigning people characters, and we'll just read. And I'll keep assigning someone to do the stage directions as well. For the person who's doing stage directions, just make sure that you don't do the small stage directions in the middle of dialogues between actors. So we maintain that flow. Okay, so I'll do stage directions for now, and I'll keep assigning people as we go. All right. If anyone wants to just spectate, you're free to. So you can just put it in the chat. I'll read it, and the no issues with that. But till now, I think who all are reading. I think Bhupesh is here to read. Saurav, Nandini, Yash, and yeah, that's it. And Chirag. Chirag's also
No,
here to
no.
read.
I'll just quickly say. Else I just keep copying on.
Okay. So Saurav's also spectating. Avik's also spectating. Okay, sure, no issues. So yeah, let's go. Act one. The stage is empty, empty except for a chair kept center stage and a table on the stage right or at the back, on which Bhagwat and the musicians sit. At the beginning of the performance, a mask of Ganesha is brought on the stage and kept on the chair. Puja is done. The Bhagwat sings verses in praise of Ganesh accompanied by his musicians, and then the mask is taken away. O elephant headed Hiramb, whose flag is victory, who shines like a thousand suns, O husband of Riddhi and Siddhi, seated on a mouse and decorated with a snake, O single tusked destroyer of incompleteness, we pay homage to you and start our play. So, Bhagwat, Nandini, do you want to take Bhagwat for now?
Sure.
Yes.
May Vigneshwar, the destroyer of obstacles, who removes all hurdles and crowns all endeavors with success, bless our performance now. How indeed can one hope to describe his glory on our poor disabled words? An elephant's head on a human body, a broken tusk, and a cracked belly. Whichever way you look at him, he seems the embodiment of imperfection, of incompleteness. How indeed can one fathom the mystery that this very Vakratunda Mahakaya, with his crooked face and distorted body, is the Lord and Master of success and perfection? Could it be that this image of purity and holiness, this Mangal Murti, intends to signify by his very appearance that the completeness of God is something no poor mortal can comprehend? Be that as it may, it is not for us to understand this mystery or to try to unravel it, nor is it within our powers to do so. Our duty is merely to pay homage to the elephant headed god and get on with our play. This is the city of Dharampur, ruled by the king Dharam Singh, whose fame and empire have already reached the ends of the eight directions. Two youths dwell in this city, are our heroes. One is Devdutt, completely in sorry, comely in appearance, fair in color, unrivaled in intelligence. Devdutt is the only son of the revered Brahmin Vidyasagar. Having felled the mightiest pundits of the kingdom in debates on logic and love, having blinded the greatest poets of the world with his poetry and wit, Devdutt is, as it were, the apple of every eye in Dharampur. The other youth is Kapila. He is the only son of the ironsmith Lohita, who is to the king's armory as an axle to the chariot wheel. He is dark and plain to look at, yet in deeds which require drive and daring, in dancing, in strength, and in physical skills, he has no equal.
Continue.
The world wonders at their friendship. The world sees these two young men wandering down the streets of Dharampur, hand in hand, and remembers Love and Kush, Ram and Lakshman, Krishna and Balram. Two friends there were, one mind, one heart. Who could that be? Creating a disturbance at the very outset of our performance? Oh, it's Nata, our actor, and he is running. What could have happened, I wonder?
Okay, actor Bhupesh, actor.
Yeah, good. Sir, Bhagwat sir.
Tutuk, what's this? What's this?
Sir, oh my god. God.
Let me go, I tell you. Let go of me.
I, I, oh god.
Now, what nonsense is this? Let me go. What nonsense is this? What do you mean by all this shouting and screaming? In front of our audience, too? How dare you? How dare you disturb?
Please, please, I'm sorry. But,
Now, calm down. There's nothing to be afraid of here. I'm here. The musicians are here, and there is a large hearted audience. It may be that they fall asleep during a play sometimes, but they are ever alert when someone is in trouble. Now tell us, what's the matter?
oh, oh my heart. It's gonna burst.
Sit down. Sit. Right. Now tell me everything quietly, slowly.
I, I was on my way here. I was already late. I didn't want to annoy you, so I was hurrying down when, oh,
Yes, you were hurrying down. Then?
I'm shivering. On the way, you see, I had drunk a lot of water this morning. My stomach was full, so to relieve myself,
Watch what you're saying. Remember, you're on stage.
I didn't do anything. I only wanted to. So so I sat by the side of the road and was about to pull up my dhoti when
Yes?
a voice, a deep, thick voice. It said, "Hey, you there! Don't you know you're not supposed to commit nuisance on the main road?"
Quite right, too. You should have known that much.
I half got up and looked around. Not a man in sight. No one. So I was about to sit down again when the same voice said,
Yes?
"You irresponsible fellow. Can't you understand you're not to commit nuisance on the main road? I looked up, and there, right in front of me, across the fence,
Who was there?
a horse.
What?
A horse. And it was talking.
What did you have to drink this morning?
Nothing, I swear. Bhagat sir, I haven't been near a toddy shop for a whole week. I didn't even have milk today.
Perhaps your liver is sensitive to water.
Please believe me, I saw it clearly. It was a horse, and it was talking.
It's no use continuing this nonsense. So you saw a talking horse? Good. Now go and get made up.
Mera? I fall to your feet, sir. I can't.
Now look here.
Please, sir. You see, sir? How can I hold up a sword? How can I fight?
Well then, there's only one solution left. You go back.
Back?
Back to that fence. Have another look and make sure for yourself that whoever was talking, it couldn't have been that horse.
No,
Nata,
I can't.
it's an order.
But must I?
Yes, you must.
Sir,
Two friends there were, one mind, one heart. Are you still here? Poor boy. God alone knows what he saw and what he took it to do. There's truth for you, pure in you. Two friends there were, one mind, one heart. Now look here.
it's coming. Coming.
What's coming?
Him. He's coming.
Him? It? What's coming? Whatever or whoever it is, the actor. Whatever or whoever it is, the actor has obviously been frightened. It's more than likely that our gentle audience may get frightened too. It's not proper to let such a sight walk on the stage unchallenged. Hold up the entry curtain.
Two stagehands enter and hold up half a curtain, above 6 feet in height, the sort of curtain used in a yakshagan or kathakali. The curtain masks the entry of HAYAVADANA, who comes and stands behind it.
Who's that? How strange. Someone's sobbing behind the curtain. Sorry. How strange. Someone's sobbing behind the curtain. It looks as though the terror which frightened our actor is itself now crying. Lower the curtain.
The curtain is lowered by about a foot. One sees HAYAVADAN's head, which is covered by a veil. At the sign from Bhagwat, one of the stagehands removes the veil, revealing the horse's head. For a while, the horse's head doesn't realize that it's exposed to the gaze of the audience. The moment of realization dawns, the head tucks behind the curtain.
A horse? No, it can't be.
He makes a sign. The curtain is lowered a little more, just enough to show the head again. Again it ducks. Again the curtain is lowered. This goes on till the curtain is lowered right down to the floor. HAYAVADANA, who has a man's body but a horse's head, is sitting on the floor hiding his head between his knees.
Incredible. Unbelievable.
At a sign from Bhagwat, the stagehands withdraw. The Bhagwat goes and stands near HAYAVADANA. Then he grants himself as though he has seen through the trick.
Aditya, I can't hear you. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. That's your line.
Who are you?
HAYAVADANA lifts his head and wipes the tears away. The Bhagwat beckons him to come center stage.
Come here.
Have,
You go around scaring.
HAYAVADANA hesitates and then comes forward.
First you go around scaring people with this stupid mask. And then you have the cheek to disturb our show with your clowning. Have you no sense of proportion? Enough of this nonsense now. Take it off. I say take off that stupid mask.
Continue, just, yeah.
Oh, you won't? Then I'll have to do it myself. It's tight. Nata, my dear actor. Why are you standing there? Don't you see? You were taken in by a silly mask? Come and help me.
The actor comes and holds HAYAVADANA by his waist and Bhagwat pulls the head. HAYAVADANA offers no resistance but can't help moaning when the pain becomes unbearable. The tug of war continues for a while. Slowly the truth dawns on Bhagwat.
mask. It's his real head. Truly surprises me never cease. If someone had only told me 5 minutes ago that there was a man with a horse's head, I would have laughed out in his face. Who are you?
Hayavadan gets up and starts to go out. The actor hurriedly moves out of his way.
Wait, that's our green room there. It's bad enough that you've scared this actor. We have a play to perform today, you know. Who are you? What brought you to this? Was it a curse of some rishi? Or was it some holy place of pilgrimage, a Khan which you desecrated? Or could it be that you insulted a pativrata dedicated to the service of her husband? Or did you?
Yeah, so Hayavadan, Aritro, if you're here and you want to take Hayavadan. Yes, uncle.
I am writing.
Hey,
Eh?
Yes, uncle.
what do you mean, sir? Do you think just because you know the Puranas, you
Sure.
can go about showering your Sanskrit on everyone in sight? What temple did I
Uncle,
desecrate?
yeah, I wanted to ask
What
you,
women
is
did I
it fine
insult?
if I stay till the meeting
What?
में 6 बजे तक चलेगी?
Don't get annoyed.
हाँ हाँ
What else?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
What rishi? What sage? What?
हाँ हाँ
Who have I wronged? What have I done to anyone? Let anyone come forward and say that I've done him any wrong. I haven't. I know I haven't.
Don't take it to heart so much. What happened? What's your grief? You're not alone here. I'm here. The musicians are here. And there is a large hearted audience. It may be that they fall asleep during the play sometimes.
What can anyone do? It's my fate.
What's your name?
HAYAVADANA.
How did you get this horse's head?
I was born with it.
Then why didn't you stop us when we tried to take it off? Why did you put up with our torture?
All my life I've been trying to get rid of this head. I thought you, with all your goodness and punya, if at least you managed to pull it off.
Oh, poor man. But Heaven, what can anyone do about? Uh, poor man. But Heaven, what can anyone do about the head once born with? Who knows what error committed in the last birth is responsible?
It has nothing to do with my last birth. It's this birth which I can't shake off.
Tap, don't feel ashamed.
Ashamed? Me? Why should I?
Sorry, I beg your pardon. I should have said shy.
Long story.
Carry on.
My mother was the princess of Karnataka. She was a very beautiful girl. When she came of age, her father decided that she should choose her own husband. So princes of every kingdom in the world were invited. And they all came from China, from Persia, from Africa. But she didn't like any of them. The last one to come was the Prince of Arabi. My mother took one look at the handsome prince sitting on his great white stallion, and she fainted. Her father at once decided that this was the man. All our arrangements for the wedding were made. My mother woke up, and do you know what she said?
What?
She said she would only marry that horse. Yes, she wouldn't listen to anyone. The Prince of Arabi burst a blood vessel. No one could dissuade her. So ultimately, she was married off to the white stallion. She lived with him for 15 years. One morning, she wakes up and no horse. In its place stood a beautiful celestial being, a Gandhava. Apparently, the celestial being had been cursed by the god Kuvera to be born a horse for some act of misbehavior. After 15 years of human love, he had become his original self.
I must admit, several such cases are on record.
Released from his curse, he asked my mother to accompany him on his heavenly abode, but she wouldn't. She said she would only come if he became a horse again. So he cursed her.
I think Bhupesh is taking actor. Bhupesh, whenever you're back.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
No.
He cursed her to become a horse herself. So my mother became a horse and ran away happily. My father went back to his heavenly abode. Only I, the child of their marriage, was left behind.
It's a sad story.
Very sad.
What should I do now? Bhagavata sir, what can I do to get rid of this head?
Hayavadan, what's written on our foreheads cannot be altered.
But what a forehead! What a forehead! If it was a forehead like yours, I would have accepted anything. But this, I have tried to accept my fate. My personal life has naturally been blameless. So I took interest in the social life of the nation, civics, politics, patriotism, nationalism, Indianization, the socialist pattern of society. I've tried everything. But where's my society? Where? You must help me to become a complete man, Bhagavata sir. But how? What can I do?
Banaras?
What?
If you go to Banaras and make a vow in front of the god there,
I've tried that. Didn't work.
Rameshwar.
Banaras, Rameshwar, Gokul, Haridwar, Gaya, Kedarnath, not only those, but the Dargah of Khwaja, Yusuf, Baba, the grotto of our Virgin Mary. I've tried them all. Magicians, mendicants, Maharishis, fakirs, saints, and sadhus with short hair, sadhus with beards, sadhus in saffron, sadhus in the all together, hanging, singing, rotating, gyrating on the spikes in the air, underwater, under the ground. I covered them all. And what did I get out of all of this? Everywhere I went, I had to cover my head with a veil, and I started going bald. You know, I hate this head, but I just can't help being fond of this lovely long mane. So I had to give the miss to Tirupati.
come to think of it, Hayavadan, why don't you try the Kali of Mount Chitrakoot?
Anything you say.
It's a temple at the top of Mount Chitrakoot. The goddess there is famous for being ever awake to the call of divinity. Thousands used to flock to her temple once. No one goes nowadays.
Why not?
She used to give anything anyone asked for. As the people became aware of this, they stopped going.
Fools.
Why don't you try there?
Why not? I'll start at once.
Good, but I don't think you should go alone. It's a wild road. People, which won't be easy for you. So you'd better go with him.
Me?
Yes, that way you can make up for having insulted him.
But Bhagavata sir, may I point out that his roadside manners.
There. He's insulting me now. Let him find his own way. Why do I care?
Come, don't let's start fighting now. Don't worry. There's no highway there, only a cart track at best. You've no reason to feel insulted. Actually, you should admire him. Even in his dire need, he doesn't lose his civic sense. Be off now.
Please, don't get upset. I won't bother you, I promise. I'm grateful. I'm most grateful.
May you become successful in your search for completeness. Each one to his own fate. Each one to his own desire. Each one to his own lack. Let's now turn to our story. Two friends there were, one mind, one heart. They saw a girl and forgot themselves. They could not understand the song she sang.
Okay, there's female chorus. Who wants to sing? Who wants to do female chorus? Yash, are you here? Just read it, okay? You don't have to sing it. Just read it.
Yes, I guess it'll be really nice if I don't sing it for the all of us. Okay. Why should love stick to the sap of a single body, many flowered lantana? Why should it be tied down to the relation of a single flower?
They forgot themselves and took off their body. and she took the laughing heads and held them high so the pouring blood bathed her. Then she danced around and sang.
A head for each breast, a pupil for each eye, a side for each arm. I have neither regret nor shame. The blood pours into the heart, and a song dances out in the sky.
Devdutt enters and sits on the chair. He is a slender, delicate looking person and is wearing a pale colored mask. He is also lost in thought. Kapila enters. He's powerfully built and wears a dark mask. Okay, so who else do we have left? Otherwise, we'll have to do multiple characters, which is no problem. So Bhupesh, Yash, actually, I want you to do Kapila and yeah, Yash do Kapila, and I'll do Devdutt.
Okay, got it.
And just a second, and Nandini, just do the stage directions for now. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Devdutt, why didn't you come to the gymnasium last evening? I'd asked you to.
Some
You're
work.
such a. Really, you should have come. The wrestler from Gandhara is one of India's greatest, you know. He came. Nanda and I were wrestling when he arrived. He watched us. When I caught Nanda in the crocodile hold, he first burst into applause and said,
Then,
then what?
I mean, what did Nanda do?
He played the flute.
No, I mean, you were saying something about the wrestler from Gandhar, right? Weren't you?
He wrestled with me for a few minutes, patted me on the back, and said, you'll go far.
That's nice.
Yes, it is.
What? Whose is it this time? What do you mean?
I mean, who is it this time?
Like, what? What do you mean? Who?
I mean, who is the girl?
No one. How did you guess?
My dear friend, I've seen you fall in love 15 times in the last 2 years. How could I not guess?
Kapila, if you've come here to make fun of me,
I'm not making fun of you. Every time you have been the first to tell me about it. Why so shy this time?
how can you even talk to them in the same breath as her? Before her, they're as
As stars before the moon, as the glowworms before a torch. Yes, yes, that's been so 15 times too.
why don't you go home? You're becoming a bore.
Don't get annoyed.
You call yourself my friend, but you haven't understood me at all.
And have you understood me? No, you haven't. Or wouldn't, or you wouldn't get angry like this. Don't you know I would do anything for you? Jump into a well or walk into fire. Even my parents aren't as close to me as you are. I would leave them this minute if you asked me to.
Don't start on that now. You said it 50 times already.
And I'll say it again. If it wasn't for you, I would have been no better than the ox in our yard. You showed me that there were such things as poetry and literature. You taught me.
Why don't you go home? All I wanted was to be by myself for the day, alone. And you had to come and start your chatter. What do you know about poetry and literature? Go back to your smithy. That's where you belong.
You really want me to go?
Yes?
Alright, if that's what you want.
Sit down and don't speak.
Devdutt gets down on the floor to sit beside Kapila. Kapila at once leaps up and gestures to Devdutt to sit on the chair. Devdutt shakes his head but Kapila pulls him up by his arm. Devdutt gets up.
You are a pest. How can I describe her, Kapila? Or for her forelocks rival the bees. Her face is
White lotus. Her beauty is
a
as the magic
magic
lake.
lake.
Her
Her
arms,
arms, the lotus creepers. Her
her
breasts
breasts
are
are
golden
golden
urns,
urns.
and her waist. No, no, no.
Eh? head.
I was blind all these days. I've deceived myself that I understood poetry. I didn't. I understood nothing. Tanvi Shyam Shikhari Dashana Pakva Binda Bam Bad Badhroshati Madhyay Ksham uh, Chak
Chakita Hari
Chakita Hari
Prekshana.
Prekshana Nimanambimbi. The Shyama Nayaka, born of Kali Dasa's magic description, as Vatsyana had dreamed her. Couple and one appearance, she became my guru in the poetry of love. Do you think she'll ever be able to ascend to becoming my disciple in love itself?
This is new.
If only she would consent to be my muse, I could outshine Kalidas. And I'd always wanted to do that, but I thought it was impossible. But now I see it isn't impossible at all.
Then go ahead. Right.
But how can I, without her in front of me? How can I, how can I concentrate when my whole being is only thinking of her and craving for her?
What's her name? Will you at least tell me that?
Her name, she has no name.
But what do her parents call her?
What's the use? She isn't meant for the likes of me.
You don't really believe that, do you? With all your qualities, achievements, looks, family, grace.
Don't try to console me with your praise.
I'm not praising you. You know very well that every parent of every girl in the city is only waiting to catch you.
Don't. Please. I knew this girl is beyond my wildest dreams. But I still can't stop wanting her. I can't help it. I swear, Kapila, with you as my witness, I swear if I ever get her as my wife, I'll sacrifice my two arms to the goddess Kali. I'll sacrifice my head to Lord Rudra.
This is a serious situation. It does look as though this 16th girl has really caught a Devdat in her net. Otherwise, he isn't the type to talk with such violence.
I mean it. What's the use of these hands and this head if I've not to have her? My poetry won't live without her. Shakuntalam will never be excelled. But now, how can I explain this to her? I have no cloud for a messenger, no bee to show the way. Now, only the future I have is to stand and do penance in Pavan Vithi.
Pavan Vithi? Why there?
She lives in that street.
How do you know?
I saw her in the market yesterday evening. I couldn't remove my eyes from her and I followed her home.
What must people have thought?
She went into a house in Pavan Vithi. I waited outside all evening. She didn't come out.
Now tell me, what sort of a house was it?
Can't remember.
What color?
Don't know.
How many stories?
I didn't notice.
You mean you didn't notice anything about the house?
The doorframe of the house had an engraving of a two-headed bird at the top. I only saw that. She lifted her hand to knock and touched the bird. And for a minute the bird came alive.
Then why didn't you tell me before? You've been wasting all this precious
I
time.
don't understand.
My dear Devdatta, your cloud messenger, your bee, your pigeon is sitting right in front of you and you don't even know it. You wait here. I'll go find out her house.
Kapila! Kapila!
I'll be back in a few minutes.
I won't ever forget this, Kapila.
Shut up and forget all about your arms and head. This job doesn't need either Rudra or Kali. I'm quite enough.
Kapila! He's gone. How fortunate I am to have a friend like him. Pure gold. But should I have trusted this to him? I mean, he means well. And he is a wizard in his smithy and his farm and his fields, but here, no. He's too rough, too indelicate. He was the wrong man to send. He's bound to ruin the whole thing. Lord Rudra, I meant what I said. If I get my head, if I get her, my head will be a gift to you. Mother Kali, I'll sacrifice my arms to you. I swear.
This is Pavanaviti, the street of merchants. Well, well, well. What enormous houses, each one a palace in itself. It's a wonder people don't get lost in these houses. Now, this is not a double headed bird, it's an eagle. This, a lotus. This is a lion, tiger, a wheel. And this, God alone knows what this is. And the next, a horse, a rhinoceros, another lion. Where the hell is that stupid two headed bird? I couldn't make out. That's it. Almost gave me the slip. A proper two headed bird. But it's so tiny you can't see it at all. Unless you're willing to tear your eyes staring at it. Well, now, whose house could this be? No one in sight. Naturally, why should anyone come here in this hot sun? Better ask the people in the house.
Padmini, is anyone left who's not read till now and who wants to read? Just sort of, or anyone else, or otherwise, Nandini, take Padmini.
Here comes the rider. From which land does he come?
I give up, Devdutt. I surrender to your judgment. Anyone could be more beautiful than the wench Ragini who acts Ramba in our village troupe. But this one, you're right. She is Yakshini, Shakuntala, Urvashi, Indumati, all rolled into one.
You knocked, didn't you?
Yes.
Then why are you gaping at me? What do you want?
I, uh, I just wanted to know whose house this was.
Whose house do you want?
This one.
I see. Then who do you want here?
The master?
Do you know his name?
No,
Have you met him?
no,
Have you seen him?
no.
So, you haven't met him, seen him, or known him. What do you want with him?
She's quite right. What I have to do with him? I only want to find out his name.
Are you sure you want this house? Or were you.
No, I'm sure this is the one.
Are you alright here?
Yes, I think so.
How about your eyes? Do they work properly?
Yes.
How many?
4.
Correct. There's nothing wrong with your eyes. As for the thing, I'll have to take you on trust. Well, if you truly wanted this house, why were you peering at all those doors? And what were you mumbling under your breath?
How did you know?
I'm quite sane, and I've got good eyes.
Oh, I suppose you were watching from the terrace.
Listen, you'd better be careful. We have any number of thefts in this street, and people are suspicious. Last night there was a man standing there for nearly 2 hours without moving, and today you have turned up. It's just as well I saw you. Anyone else would have taken you to police. Beware. Now tell me, what are you doing here?
Uh, I, I can't tell you.
Really? Who will you tell it to?
Your father.
Do you want my father or do you want the master of this house?
Aren't they the same?
Listen, my father could be a servant in this house, or the master of this house could be my father's servant. My father could be the master's father, brother, son in law, cousin, grandfather, or uncle. Do you agree?
Uh, yes.
will start it. Who should I call?
Your father?
And if he's not in,
Anyone else?
which anyone?
Perhaps your brother?
Do you know him?
No,
Have you met him?
no.
Do you know his name?
Please, please, call your father the master, or both, or if they are the same, anyone. Please call someone.
No, no, that won't do.
No one here? Still, I have to find out her name. Devdutt must be in pain and he will never forgive me if I go back now. Madam, please, I have some very important work. I'll touch your feet.
You will? Really? Do you know I've touched everyone's feet in this house in some time or the other? But no one. Sorry. You will? Really? Do you know I've touched everyone's feet in this house some time or the other, but no one's ever touched mine? You will?
I'm finished. Decimator. Powder to dust. Powdered into tiny specks of flour. Can I at least talk to a servant?
I knew it. I knew you wouldn't touch my feet. One can't ever trust strangers anymore. All right, my dear son. I opened the door, so consider me the doorkeeper. What do you want?
All right. You have no doubt heard of the Reverend Brahmin Vidyasagar,
It's possible.
in which case you'll also know of Devdutt, his only son. Pandit, knows the Vedas backwards, writes the grandest poetry ever. Dark hair, delicate. Age 20, height 5 feet 7 inches, weight,
Wait a minute. What's he to you?
friend, greatest in the world. But the main question now, what's he going to be to you?
Mother!
Devdutt, my friend, I confess to you, I'm feeling uneasy. You're a gentle soul. You can't bear a bitter word or an evil thought. Is lightning and I are sharp. She is not for the likes of you. What she needs is a man of steel. But what can one do? You never listen to me. And I can't withdraw now. I'll have to talk to her family.
Bhupesh, take Bhagwat.
Cool. Need one explain to our wise and knowing audience what followed next? Padmini is the daughter of the leading merchant in Dharmapur. In her house, the very floor is swept by the goddess of wealth. In Devdutt's house, there is the goddess of learning for a moment. What could then possibly stand in the way of bringing the families together? Padmini, the better off of Devdutt and settled in his house. Nor did Devdutt forget his debt to Kapila. The old friendship flourished as before. Devdutt, Padmini, Kapila. The admiring citizens of Dharmapur, Ram, Sita, Lakshman.
Why is he so late? He should have been here more than an hour early.
Have you packed your clothes properly?
First thing in the morning.
And the mattresses? May have to sleep out in the open. It's quite chilly. We'll need at least 2 rugs.
Don't worry, the servant's done all that.
And your shawl? And also some warm clothes.
What's happened to you today? At other times you're What's happened to you today? At other times you're looking so full of your books. Sorry. What's happened to you today? At other times you're so full of your books. You even forget to wash your hands after your meal. But today you've been going on and on and on all morning.
Padmini, I've told you 10 times already. I don't like the idea of this trip. You should rest, not face such hazards. The cart will probably shake like an earthquake. It's dangerous in your condition, but you won't listen.
My condition? What's happened to me? To listen to you, one would think I was the first woman in this world to become pregnant. I only have to stumble and you act as though it's all finished and gone.
For God's sake, will you stop it?
Sorry. I won't say such things.
You have no sense of what to say, so long as you can chatter and run around like a child
Where is Kapila?
and drool over Kapila all day.
What do you mean?
What else should I say? The other day I wanted to read out a play of Bhas to you, and sure enough, Kapila drops in.
Oh, that's biting you still, is it? But why are you blaming me? He was your friend even before you married me, wasn't he? He used to drop in every day even then.
But shouldn't he realize I'm married now? He just can't go on as before.
Don't blame him. It's my fault. He learned a bit about poetry from you, and I thought he might enjoy Bhasa. So I asked him to come. He didn't want to, but I insisted.
I know that.
Had I realized would be so upset, I wouldn't have.
I'm not upset, Padmini. Kapila isn't merely a friend. He's like my brother. And one has to collect merit in 7 lives to get a friend like him. But is it wrong for me to want to read to you alone? Or to spend a couple of days with you without anyone else around? I mean, of course he came and there wasn't the slightest chance of my reading any poetry. You had to hop around him, twittering, Kapila, Kapila, every minute.
You aren't jealous of him, are you?
Me? Jealous of Kapila? Why would you have to twist everything I say?
Don't sulk with me. I was just trying to be funny. Really, you have no sense.
It's humor for you, but it burns me inside.
Or shut up. Don't I know how liberal and large-hearted you are? You aren't the sort to get jealous. If I fall into a well tomorrow, you won't even miss me until my bloated corpse floats.
Padmini!
Sorry, I forgot. I apologize. I slapped myself on the cheeks. Is that alright? Trouble is, I grew up saying these awful things and it's become a habit now. But you're so fragile. I don't know how you're going to go through life wrapped up in silk like this. You're still a baby.
I see.
Look now, you got annoyed about Kapila. But why? You're my saffron, my marriage thread, my dating. Why should you feel upset? I like making fun of Kapila. He's such an innocent. Looks a proper devil, but the way he blushes and giggles and turns red, he might have been a bride.
Well, this bride didn't blush.
No one taught this bride to blush. But now I'm learning from that yokel.
Does she really not see? Or is she deliberately playing this game with him? Kapila was never the sort to blush. But now he only has to see her and he just begins to wag his tail. Sits up on his hind legs, though as if he was afraid to let her words fall to the ground. And pleading in his eyes, can't you really see that? Padmini, Kapila isn't used to women. Like the only women he has known in his life is his mother.
You mean it's dangerous to be with him? The way you talk, one would never imagine he was your best friend.
Why would you have to paint everything I say?
What did I say? Listen, if you really don't want to go to Ujjain today, let's not. When Kapila comes, tell him I'm ill.
But you will be disappointed.
Me? Of course not. You'll do as you feel. I'm sorry, just excuse me.
Yeah, sure. Padmini, how about Arithro? Do you want to take Padmini for now?
Sure. Just could you just guide me
Yeah,
where we are? I'm
page
kind of lost.
page 18 of the PDF and page 22 of the matlab, script.
Yes. And which line are we at?
Padmini says, me, of course not. Dev Datta says, but you will be disappointed. It's in the beginning only. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Devdatta?
Yeah, you're taking Padmini.
Okay. Go
Yeah.
first on Devdatta's line.
But you will be disappointed.
Me? Of course not. You'll do as you feel. You remember what the priest said? I'm your half now, the better half. We can go to Ujjain some other time. In another couple of months, there's the big Ujjain fair. We'll go there. Just the two of us. Alright? We'll cancel today's trip.
Now, if you aren't going to be disappointed, then truly that's what I would like the most. Not because I'm jealous of Kapila, no, I'm not. I know that he has a heart of gold. But this is your first baby.
What do you mean first? How many babies can one have in 6 months?
You aren't going to start again.
No. I won't say a word.
Bad upbringing. That's what it is. I don't like the idea of you going So far in a cart in your present condition. That's all.
Ordinarily, I would have replied I had a womb of steel, but I won't in the present condition. Alright, if you are happy, so am I.
Yes, we'll spend the whole day by ourselves. The servants are going home anyway. They can come back tomorrow. But for today, only you and me. It's been such a long time since we've been on our own.
Devdat,
Hmm, there's Kapila now. You tell him.
I'm late, ain't I? What could I do? That cartman had kept that cart ready, but the moment I looked at it, I knew one of the oxen was no good. I asked him to change it. He won't reach Ujjain for another fortnight in this one, I said. He started
Kapila.
making but I stood my ground, so he had to fetch a new one. A menace. If ours hadn't gone to Chitradpur that day,
Kapila, we have to call off today's trip.
oh,
You see, Padmini isn't well, and
well, then of course, I'll return the cart then.
yes.
He may charge us for the day.
Hmm.
So it's off. What am I to do for the rest of the day? What am I to do for the rest of the week? Why should it feel as though the whole world has been wiped out for a whole week? Why this emptiness? Kapila, Kapila, get a tight hold on yourself. You are slipping, boy. Don't lose that hold. Go now. Don't come here again for a week. Bound to get angry with you for not calming. Sister-in-law will get annoyed. Go. Go. Start.
Why don't you sit for a while?
No, no. We might upset sister-in-law more than with a noise.
That's true. So, come again.
I will.
Why are you sitting here? When are we going to start? You're already late.
But if you aren't well, we won't.
What's wrong with me? I'm perfect. I had a headache this morning. The layer of ginger paste took care of that. Why should we cancel our trip for a little thing like that? Why are you standing there like a statue?
Really, if you have a headache,
I don't have a headache now.
But Padmini,
Kapila, put those bundles out there in the cart. The servant will bring the rest. Be quick, otherwise I'll put them in myself. Please don't get angry. Poor boy. He looked so lost and disappointed I couldn't bear to see it. He has been running around for us this whole week.
where's the box in which I can put the books? I'll take it and.
What an angel. I knew you wouldn't mind. I'll bring it. It's quite light.
And my disappointment? Does that mean nothing to you? Don't, I'll take it. Don't lift that thing. Bhuvnesh, take Bhagavad.
Why do you tremble, heart? Why do you cringe like a touch-me-not birch through which a snake has passed? The sun rests his head on the fortunate lady flower, and the head is bidding goodbye to the heart.
Kapila, followed by Padmini and Devlata, enter, miming a cart ride. Kapila is driving the cart. How beautifully you drive the cart, Kapila. Your hands don't even move, but the oxen seem to know exactly where to go. Shall we stop here for a while? We've been in the cart all day, and my legs feel like bits of wood.
right. Whew. Whew.
With the cart to a halt, they get down. She slips, but Devdatta supports her. What a terrible road. Nothing but stones and rocks. Thing in the car. You drove it so gently, almost made it float. I remember when Devdatta took me in a car. That was soon after our marriage. I insisted on being shown the lake outside the city. So we started. Only the two of us and Devdatta driving. Against my advice, I must say. And we didn't even cross the city gates. The oxen took everything except the road. He only had to pull to the right and off they would rush to the left. I've never laughed so much in my life. But of course, he got very angry, so we had to go back home straight. Kapila, what's that glorious tree there? That one, covered with flowers?
Oh, that's called the fortunate lady's flower. That means a married woman.
Oh, but why did he call it that?
Wait, I'll bring a flower.
How he climbs like an ape. Before I could even say yes, he had taken off his shirt, pulled his dhoti up, and swung up the branch. And what an ethereal shape! Such a broad back, like an ocean with muscles rippling across it. And then that small, feminine waist, which looks so helpless.
She had so much to talk about all day, and she couldn't wait for a breath. And now, not a word.
He's like a celestial being reborn as a hunter. How his body sways, his limbs curve. It's a dance almost.
And why should I blame her? It's his strong body, his manly muscles. Do you think I've never noticed them all these years? I was an innocent and absolute baby.
No woman could resist him.
No woman could resist him. And what does it matter that she's married? What a fool I've been. All these days, I only saw the pleading in his eyes, stretching out his arms and begging for a favor, but never looked in her eyes. And now, when I did, took the whites of her eyes for their real depth. Now I see the depths, and now I see the flames leaping up from those depths. Now! So late! Don't turn away now, though, Devdutt. Look at her. Look at those yellow, purple flames. Look at how she's pouring her soul into his mood. Look. Let your guts burn out. Let your lungs turn to ash. But don't turn away. Look. Don't scream. Strangle your agony. But look deep into her eyes. Don't look until those peacock flames burn out the blindness in you. Don't be a coward now.
How long can one go on like this? How long? How long? Devdatta notices. Looks at Devdatta. He's looking at her already, and their eyes meet. Both look away. There he comes. All I wanted was one flower, and he's brought her here. Kapila comes
Here
in,
you
minding a whole load of flowers in his arms and hands. He pours them out in front of her.
Here you are, the fortunate lady's flowers.
And why a fortunate lady, pray?
Because it has all the marks of marriage a woman puts on. The yellow on the petals, and that red round patch at the bottom of those petals, like on your foreheads. Then here, that thin saffron line, like in the parting of your hair. Then, oh yes, here near the stem, a row of black dots, like a necklace of black beads.
What imagination. You should put this in your poetry. It's good for a simile.
Shall we go? It's quite late.
Let's stay. I've been sitting in the cart for I don't know how long. I didn't know the road to Ujjain was so enchanting.
The others take a longer route. This is a more wooded area, so very few come this way. But I like this better. Besides, it's 15 miles shorter.
I wouldn't have minded even if it were 15 miles longer. It's like a garden.
Isn't it? Look there. You see it? That's the river Bhargavi. The poet Vyasa had a hermitage on its banks. There's a temple of Rudra there now.
And a temple of Rudra.
Yes, it's beautiful. And there, beyond that hill, is a temple of Kali.
Two stagehands come and hold up a half curtain in the corner to which he points. The curtain has a picture of Goddess Kali on it. The Bhagavata puts a sword in front of it.
It was very prosperous once, but now it's quite dilapidated.
The Temple of Rudra.
But old too, but not half as ruined as the Kali temple. We can have a look if you like.
Yes, let's.
Why don't you go and see the Kali's temples first?
No, that's quite terrible. I've seen it once. Bats, snakes, all sorts of poisonous insects. And no proper road. Temple though, it's nearer.
Come on, let's go.
And you two go. I won't come.
You?
I'll stay here. I'll watch the cart.
But there's no fear of thieves here. Or else, I'll stay here.
No. You two go. Also, I'm a little tired.
He started again. Another tantrum. Let him, what do I care? Come, Kapila, we'll go.
But perhaps in your condition,
Why are you two hounding me with this condition? If you don't want to come, say so. Don't make excuses.
Devdat, it's not very far. You come too.
I told you to go. Don't force me.
Let's not go. I don't want the two of you to suffer for my sake.
Go.
Come. We'll be back soon.
Kapila and Padmini go out.
Goodbye, Kapila. Goodbye, Padmini. May Lord Rudra bless you. You are two pieces of my heart. Live happily together. I shall find my happiness in that. Give me strength, Lord Rudra. My father gave me courage and I'm already trembling. I've never thought I would be so afraid. Give me courage, Father. Strengthen me. He walks to the
Walks to
temple.
the temple of Kali.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, go for it.
It's a steep and difficult climb. He is exhausted by the time he reaches the temple. He prostrates himself before the goddess. Bhavani, Bhairavi, Kali, Durga, Mahamaya, Mother of all nature. I've forgotten my promise to you. Forgive me, Mother. You fulfilled the deepest craving of my life. You gave me Padmini, and I forgot my word. Forgive me, for I'm here now to carry out my promise. Great indeed is your mercy. Even in this lonely place, some devotee of yours, a hunter, perhaps, or a tribesman, has left this weapon. Who knows how many lives this weapon has sacrificed to you? Here, Mother Kali. Here's another. My head. Take it. Mother, accept this offering of my head.
Cuts off his head, not an easy thing to do. He struggles, groans, writhes, ultimately succeeds in killing himself. The head, that is, the mask, rolls off and blood flows. A long silence. Padmini and Kapila return to the cart. He should have come. How thrilling it was. Heaven. But of course, he has no enthusiasm for these things. After all, where's Devdatta? He said he'd be here.
Devdat! Devdat!
He's probably somewhere around. Where will he go? He has the tenderest feet on earth. They managed to get blisters, corns, cuts, boils, and wounds without any effort. So,
Devdat!
why are you shouting? Sit down. Come.
His footprints. He has obviously gone in that direction. But that's where the Kali temple is.
Don't mean he's gone there. How absurd.
You stay here. I'll bring him back.
But why do you have to go? There's nothing here in this broad daylight.
It's very thick wood there. If he gets lost, he'll have to spend the whole night in the jungle. You stay here.
He's gone? Really? He seems more worried about Devdatta than me. She sits down. Kapila goes to the Kali temple, but naturally faster than Devdatta did. He sees the body and his mouth half opens in a scream. He runs to Devdatta and kneels beside him, lifts his truncated head and moans.
You've cut off your head. You've cut off your head. Oh, my dear friend, my brother, what have you done? You're so angry with me. Did you feel such contempt for me, such abhorrence? And in your anger, you forgot that I was ready to die for you. If you had asked me to jump into fire, I would have done it. You had asked me to leave the country, I would have done it. If you had asked me to go and drown in a river, I would have gladly done it. It's me so much that you couldn't even ask me that. I did wrong. But you know, I don't have the intelligence to know what else I should have done. I couldn't think, and so you pushed me away. No, Devda, I, I can't live without you. I, I can't breathe without you. Devdat, my brother, my father, my friend. You spurned me in this world. Accept me as your brother at least in the next. Yeah, friend, here I come. As always, I follow you in your path.
Cuts off his head. It's an easier death this time. Padmini, who has been still now, moves.
Where are they? Now this Kapila has disappeared too. Couldn't still be searching for him. That's not possible. Devdatta's too weak to have gone far. They must have met. Perhaps they're sitting now, chatting as in the old days. For once, no bother of a wife around. More likely Devdatta's sulking. He's probably tearing poor Kapila to shreds by just being silent and grumpy. Yes, that would be more like him. It's almost dark. And they aren't back. Shameless men to leave me alone like this here. It's no use sitting here any longer. I'd better go and look for them. If I die of a snake bite on the way, so much the better for them. Walks to the temple slowly, rubs her eyes when she reaches there. How dark it is. Can't see a thing. Kapila! Kapila! Devdatta isn't here either. What shall I do here? This time of night alone? Wild beast. A wolf. It's right outside. What shall I do if it comes in? Mother Kali, you can protect me now. What's this? What's this? Oh God. What's this? Both? Both gone, and I didn't even think. And I didn't even think of me before they went. What shall I do? What shall I do? Devdatta, what did I do that you left me alone in this state? You loved me, and you, Kapila, you looked at me with the dog eyes. You too. How selfish you are. How unkind. What shall I do? Where shall I go? How can I go home? Get there. What shall I say? Happen. And who will believe me? Say the two fought and died for this cause. They're bound to see. Then what will happen to them? No, Mother Kali, no. It's too horrible to think of. No. Kapila's gone, Devdatta's gone. Let me go with them. I don't have the strength to hack off my head. But what does it matter how I die, Mother? You don't care. It's the same to you. Another offering. All right. Have it then. Here's another offering for you. Lifts the sword and puts a point on her breast, when from behind the curtain the goddess' voice is heard.
Bhupesh, take the voice.
Hey, put it down. Down that sword.
Padmini jumps up in fright and throwing the sword aside tries to run out of the temple and stops. Who's that? Who's that?
A tremendous noise of drums. Padmini shuts her eyes in terror. Behind the curtain, one sees the uplifted, blood red palms of the goddess. The curtain is lowered and taken away, and one sees a terrifying figure. Her arms stretched out, her mouth wide open with the tongue lolling out. The drums stop, and as the goddess drops her arms and shuts her mouth, it becomes clear that she has been yawning.
Oh, all right. Open your eyes and be quick. Don't waste time.
Padmini opens her eyes and sees the goddess. She runs and falls at her feet. Mother, Kali.
Yes, it's me. There was a time, many, many years ago, when at this hour they would have the Mangal Aarti. The devotees used to make a deafening racket with drums and councils and cymbals. So I used to be wide awake around now. I've lost the habit. Oh, right. What do you want? Tell me. I'm pleased with you.
Save me, Mother.
I know. I've already done that already.
Do you call this saving, Mother of all nature? I can't show my face to anyone in the world. I can't.
Yes, yes. You've said that once. No need to repeat yourself. Do as I tell you. Put these heads back properly. Attach them to their bodies and then press that sword on their necks. They'll come up alive. Is that enough?
Mother, you are our breath. You are our bread and water.
Skip it. Do as I told you. And quickly. I'm collapsing with sleep.
May I ask a question?
It's not too long.
Can there be anything you already don't know, Mother? The past and the future are mere specks in your path. Then why didn't you stop Devdutta when he came here? Why didn't you stop Kapila? If you saved either of them, I would have been spared all this terror. Sagini, why did you wait so long?
Is that all you can think of now?
Mother,
I've never seen anyone like you.
how could one possibly hide anything from you, Mother?
That's true enough.
Then why didn't you stop them?
Actually, if I hadn't been that I was so sleepy, I would have thrown them out by the scruff of their necks.
But why?
The rascals, they were lying to their last breaths. That fellow Devdutt, he had once promised his head to Rudra and his arms to me. Think of it. Head to him and arms to me. Then because he insisted on going to the Rudra temple, he comes here and offers his head. Nobly too. Wants to keep his word, he says. No other reason. Then this Kapila died right in front of me. But for his good friends, mind you, didn't even have the courtesy to refer to me. And what lies! Says he's dying for friendship. He must have known perfectly well he would be accused of killing Devdutt for you. Don't you think he wouldn't have grabbed you if it hadn't been for that fear? But till his last breath, oh, my friend, my dear brother, only you spoke the truth.
It's all your grace, Mother.
Don't let me into it. I had nothing to do with it. You spoke the truth because you're selfish. That's all. Now don't go on talking. Do what I told you and shut your eyes.
Yes, Mother.
Eagerly, Padmini puts the heads, that is, the masks, back, but in her excitement, she mixes them up. so that Devdatta's mask goes to Kapila's body and vice versa, and then presses the sword on their necks, does a namaskar to the goddess, walks downstage and stands with her back to the goddess, her eyes shut tight.
I'm ready, mother.
My dear daughter, there should be a limit even to honesty. Anyway, so be it.
Again, the drums. The curtain is held up again, and the goddess disappears behind it. During the following scene, the stage hands, the curtain, as well as the goddess, leave the stage. Padmini stands immobile with her eyes shut. The drums stop. A long silence follows. The dead bodies move. Their breathing becomes loud and labored. They sit up slowly and stiffly. Their movements are mechanical as though blood circulation has not started properly yet. They feel their own arms and their heads and bodies and look around bewildered. Henceforth, the person wearing the mask of Devdutt will be called Devdutt, similarly with Kapila. They stand up. It's not easy and they reel around a bit. Padmini is still. What happened?
What happened?
Padmini opens her eyes, but she still doesn't dare to look at them.
Voice. Kapila's voice. Kapila. Devda.
Who?
Padmini?
What happened? My head. Oh, it feels so heavy.
My body seems to weigh a ton.
What have I done? What have I done? Mother can't be. Only you can save me now. Only you can help me. What have I done? What have I done? What should I do? Mother. Mother.
Why are you crying?
What? What's wrong?
Shall I tell you, Devdas? How can I explain it, Kapila? You cut off your own heads, but the goddess gave you life. But I, in the dark. Mother, only you can protect me now, Mother. I mixed up your heads. I mixed them up. Forgive me. I don't deserve to live. Forgive me.
You mixed up?
The heads? Mixed up heads?
Heads mixed up.
Exchanged heads?
Heads exchanged.
How fantastic! All these years we were only friends.
Now we have blood relations, body relations. What a gift.
Forgive you? We must thank you.
We'll never be able to thank you enough.
Exchanged heads. What a good mix. No more tricks. Is this one that
That,
all that one
that
is?
one
I'm finished.
is dead.
Nothing like this could ever have happened before.
You know, seeing you two with your heads off was bad enough. But when you got up, it was terrible. I almost died of pride.
No one will believe us if we tell them.
We won't tell anyone.
We'll keep our secrets inside us.
Inside us is right.
But how can we not tell?
No one will know.
I'm sure they will.
I'll take any bet.
How is that possible?
We'll see. Why worry now?
Come, let's go.
It's late.
Jen.
We go. No, Jen. Now we go back home.
Absolutely.
This to Jen will last us a lifetime. Come. Devdatta, I really don't know how we're going to keep this from your parents. They'll guess as soon as they see you bare bodied.
They won't. I tell you. They take us too much for granted.
What do you mean?
Whoever looks hard at a person he sees every day.
I don't mean that.
I'm not so sure. I'm afraid I'll get the blame for it ultimately.
Stop worrying. I'll tell you it.
But What has she got to do with you now?
What do you mean?
I mean, Padmini must come home with me. So, shouldn't she? She's my wife. So, she must.
What are you talking of, Kapila?
I mean, you are Devdat's wife. I have Devdat's body now. So, you have to be my wife?
Shut up.
Don't blather like an idiot. I am Devdutt.
Aren't you ashamed of yourself?
But why, Padmini? I have Devdat's body now.
We know that. You don't have to repeat yourself like a parrot. And according to the Shastra, the head is the sign of the man.
That may be. But the question now is simply this: whose wife is she? This is the hand that accepted her at the wedding. This is the body she's lived with all these months. And the child she's carrying is the seed of this body.
No, 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 no. It's not possible. It's not. It's not. Devdatta.
Of course, it isn't, my dear. He is ignorant. When one accepts a partner in marriage with the holy fire as one's witness, one accepts a person, not a body. She didn't marry Devdutt's body. She married Devdutt, the person.
If that's your argument, I have Devdatta's body. So I am Devdatta, the person.
Listen to me. Of all human limbs, the topmost in position and as well in importance is the head. I have Devdatta's head, and it follows that I am Devdatta. According to the sacred texts,
Don't tell me about your sacred texts. Them to suit your needs. She married Devdatt's body with the holy fire as a witness, and that's enough for me.
did you hear that, Padmini? He claims to be Devdutt, and yet he condemns the texts. You think Devdutt would ever do that?
You can quote as many texts as you like. I don't give a name. Come on, Padmini.
Take care.
Come, Devdatta. It's no use arguing with the rascal. Let's go.
Come on.
Where are you taking my wife? Friend,
Will you get out of the way, or should I?
it was you who got in my way.
Get away, you pig.
He's using force. And what language? Padmini, think. Would Devdutt ever have acted like this? This is Kapila's violence.
Come, Padmini.
Go. But do you think I'll stay put while you run away with my wife? Where will you go? How far can you go? Only to this city after all. I'll follow you there. I'll kick up a row in the streets. Let's see what happens then.
Let him scream away. Don't pay any attention.
He's right. This has to be solved here. It'll create a scandal in the city.
But who listened to him? Everyone will take you for Devdatta by your face.
Ha! You think the people in Dharmapura don't know my body, do you? They've seen me 1,000 times in the wrestling pit. I've got I don't know how many awards for bodybuilding. Let's see whom they believe.
Why are you torturing us like this? For so many years, you've been our friend, accepted our hospitality.
I know what you want, Padmini. Devdutt's clever head and Kapila's strong body.
Shut up.
Suppose she did. There's nothing wrong with it. It's natural for a woman to feel attracted to the fine figure of a man.
I know it is. But that doesn't mean she can just go and.
I can't read this.
Yeah, we can't read it.
Just skip it. It's fine.
Go and be with a man who's not her husband. That's not right.
How can we get rid of this count? Let's
Go.
go get anywhere, get away anywhere, to the woods, to the desert, anywhere you
Please
ask.
ask whatever.
You'll have to kill me before you'll really escape me. You could. I don't have the strength to resist Kapila.
But I gave you life.
That was not a favor.
favor, you would have been a widow now. That was not a favor. If you hadn't, you would have been a widow now. Actually, he should be grateful to me because my wife saved his life. Instead, he's trying to snatch you away.
This way we won't get anywhere. Kapila,
No,
whatever you are, this is no way to solve the problem.
of course not. If marriage were contract, it would be. But how can Padmini's fancy be taken as the solution?
And what is the solution to this problem?
What? What indeed is the solution to this problem, which holds the entire future of these three unfortunate beings in balance? Must their fate remain a mystery? And if so, shall we not be insulting our audience by tying a question mark around its neck and bidding it goodbye? We have to face the problem, but it's a deep one, and the answer must be sought with great caution. Haste would be disastrous. So there's a break of 10 minutes now. Please have some tea, ponder over this situation, and come back with your own solution. We shall then continue with your inquiry.
Oh, Bhupesh already said it, so I think we should go for a quick, uh, just like for a pee break slash water, whatever you want. But I'm keeping it like 5 minutes, so uh, just let's just come back at oh, you know what, like 5:40. We'll resume at 5:40. Is that cool?
Yes,
Good.
but
And another thing.
Unfortunately, I'll have to leave, guys. I have to go for an attend one meeting. But thank you so much. It was so amazing. Thanks, Aditya, for this.
Yeah, of course, Manojitra. It was a pleasure having you.
I shall be seeing you all soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Chalo, bye bye.
absolutely.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Act 2, the white curtain is removed. What? What indeed is the solution to this problem which holds the entire future of these three unfortunate beings in balance? Way back in the ages when King Vikram was ruling the world, shining in glory like the earth's challenge to the sun, he was asked the same question by the demon Vetal. And the king offered a solution even without him, as it were, batting an eyelid. But will his rational, logical answer be backed by the sacred text appeal to our audiences? The future pointed out by the tongue safe inside the skull is not acceptable to us. We must read the forehead which Brahma has disconnected from its entrails. We must unravel the net on the palm disclaimed by the brain. We must plumb the hidden depths of the rivers running under our veins. Yes, that would be the right thing to do. So our three unfortunate friends went to a great rishi in search of a solution to their problem. And the rishi, remembering perhaps what King Vikram had said, gave the solution. As the heavenly cup vriksha is supreme among trees, so is the head of human limbs. Therefore, the man with Devdat's head is indeed Devdat, and he is the rightful husband of Padmini. The three spring to life. Devdat and Padmini scream with joy and move to one corner of the stage, laughing and dancing. Kapila is broken hearted, drags his feet in from the corner. Devdat.
Ah, my Padmini, my lovely Padmini,
My king, my master,
my little
the light of my joy,
the flower of my palm,
my celestial bodied Gandhar, my sun faced Indra.
my queen of Indra's court.
Come, let's go. Let's go quickly. Where the earth is soft and the green grass plays the screen.
Let us, where the banyan spreads the canopy and curtains of the skies.
What a white chest. What other canopy do I need?
My soft swing, Padmini. What other things? What other swing do I want?
My Dev that comes like a bridegroom with the ornament of a new body.
And who should wear the ornaments but the eager bride?
Let's go. Wait, don't be sad, Kapila. We shall meet again, can't we? To go with Dev that. But remember, I'm going with your body. Let that cheer you up. Goodbye, Kapila.
Goodbye. Bhagwan.
Wait, sorry. Yeah. So the roads diverged. Kapila went into the forest and disappeared. He never saw Dharampur again. In fact, he never felt the wind of any city again. As for Devdutt and Padmini, they returned to
You,
Dharampur.
you skipped a couple of lines.
You skipped a few.
Oh shit, sorry.
So,
Oh yeah, Kapila. Yeah, sorry. Kapila? Kapila. Don't grieve. It's fate, Kapila. And
Kapila? What? Me? Why am I Kapila?
so the roads diverged. Kapila went into the forest and disappeared. He never saw Dharampur again. In fact, he never felt the wind of any city again. As for Devdutt and Padmini, they returned to Dharampur and plunged into joys of a married life. Padmini enters and sits. She's stitching clothes, and Devdutt comes. He's carrying his hands. In his hands, he's carrying two large dolls, which could be played by two children. The dolls are dressed in a way which makes it impossible to decide their sex. Devdutt comes in quietly and stands behind Padmini.
Hey,
Oh, really, Dave? That you frightened me. The needle pricked me. Look, my finger's bleeding.
is it really? Put it in my mind. I'll suck it.
No thanks. I'll suck it myself. How pretty. Whose are these?
Whose? Ours, of course. The guest is driving soon. You must have some playmates.
But the guest won't be coming for months yet, silly. And
I know he isn't, but you can't get dolls like these anytime you like. These are special dolls from the Ujjain fair.
they are lovely. They look almost alive. Such sweet eyes, such delicate cheeks. Mwah. Now sit down and tell me everything that happened at that fair. You wouldn't take me with you.
How could I? In your condition, I went only because you insisted. You wanted to keep your word. I'm glad I went.
Aditya, can you just scroll?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
How could I? In your condition, I went only because you insisted you wanted to keep your word. I'm glad I went. A very funny thing happened. You know, there was a wrestling fight. There was a wrestling pit, and a wrestler from Gandhar was challenging people to fight him. I don't know what got into me. Before I'd even realized what happened, I had stripped, put on the pants given by his assistant, and bumped into the pit, jumped into the pit.
You didn't. You've never wrestled before.
Didn't think of anything. I felt, inspired. Within a couple of minutes, I had pinned him to the ground.
What would your father say if you'd heard of this?
My few acquaintances were there were amazed.
That day in the gymnasium, you defeated the champion in a squat fight. Now this, don't overdo it. People may start suspecting.
Of course they won't. I was standing there, bare-bodied, and not a soul suspected. A friend even asked me if I had learned it from Kapila.
You have, after all.
You know, I'd always thought one had to use one's brains while wrestling or fencing or swimming. But this body just doesn't wait for thoughts. It acts.
Fabulous body, fabulous brain, fabulous paper.
I've been running around all day, all these days without even proper sleep, and yet I don't feel a bit tired. And come on, we'll have a picnic by the lake. I feel like a good long swim.
In my condition.
I didn't ask you to swim. You sit there and enjoy the scene. Our son's born. I'll teach you how to swim.
You go on about it being a son. What if it's a daughter?
If she's a daughter like you, I'll teach the two of you together.
Ready. Now, now what about the picnic?
Quite right. First things first.
Take that.
Yes?
Why do you have to apply that sandal oil on your body?
Well, I like it.
I know, but
What?
Your body had that strong male smell before. I liked it.
But I've been using sandal oil since I was a child.
Uh, yeah. I don't mean that, but when we come back from the temple of Kali, you used to smell so. When we came back from the temple of Kali, you used to smell so manly.
You mean that unwashed, sweaty smell, Kapila? You like that?
It was just a suggestion. Come on, let's start. We'll be late.
Okay, doll one, I'll do doll one. Doll two, Saurav. Okay,
Okay.
not a bad house, I would say.
Yeah, we could have been worse. I was a little worried.
This is the least we deserved. Actually, we should have got a palace, a real palace.
And a prince to play with. A real prince.
How the children looked at us at the fair. How their eyes glowed.
How their mothers stared at us. How their mouths watered.
Only those beastly men turned up their noses. Expensive, too expensive.
Presuming to judge us. What do they think they are?
Only a prince would be worthy of us.
We should be dusted every day.
Dressed in silk,
Seated on a cushion shelf.
given new clothes every week.
If the doll maker had any sense, he would have sold us. He would
If,
have never sold it.
if he had any braids, he should never have given us to this man.
With his rough laborer's hands.
Palms like wood.
A grip like a vice.
My arms are still aching.
He doesn't deserve us. The beastly.
My God, the prince has arrived. The prince has come.
Brute, absolute brute.
Beast. A complete beast.
Here, Bhagavata, sir. Take these sweets. You must come to the feast tomorrow at our house.
What's this for?
Haven't you heard? I've got a son like a gem. A son like Rose. Yippee!
Is that little Satan asleep?
Think so? God is killing me.
Crying all day.
Making a mess every 15 minutes.
What if we come to? One should never trust God.
It's our fault. We should have never been wary from the moment we saw that child in the dreams.
We should have noticed that she was bloating day by day.
We should have suspected foul play then.
It wasn't our fault. How could we know that she was hiding this thing inside her?
How she was swelling day by day, week by week, as though someone was blowing air into her.
How ugly she looked.
Not a husband now.
I mean, when they were alone, he would place his hand on her belly and say, "Is it kicking now?"
See, we should have been on our guard.
We should.
And then comes the son of a Satan.
This lump of flesh.
He doesn't even have proper eyes or ears.
But he gets all the attention. Ugh. The spider's built its web on my shoulders,
Yesterday, a mouse nibbled at my toe.
and the other day a cockroach ate my left thigh.
6 months. Not a soul has come near us.
6 months and not a hand has touched us.
6 months and we reach this state what will happen in a year's time?
Nandini. Wait, I think Nandini is not here. She got locked out. Chalo, no worries. Yash, do if you can. Yash, do Padmini for now.
Listen,
Yes.
you mustn't say no, at least this time.
To what?
I mean, take him to the lake.
In this cold.
What if it's cold? He's older now. There's no need to mollycoddle him. I grew up running around in heat and cold and rain, and nothing happened to me. I'm alright.
No, it's unnecessary trouble for everyone.
What do you mean trouble? What's happened to you these days? You sit at home all day, never go out. You've forgotten all your swimming and sports.
I'm a Brahmin, Padmini. My duty.
I've heard all that.
It was fun the first few days because it was new. All that and strength. But how long can one go on like that? I have the family tradition to maintain. The daily reading, writing, and studies.
Oh,
Now, look here, Padmini. Why? What happened?
nothing. I don't know why. I suddenly had goose flesh.
Do you know where I kept the copy of Thomas Handel? I've been looking for it.
I think I saw it on the shelf. Must be there.
Okay, Nandini's back, so Padmini, Nandini, you can do Padmini. Yeah, continue. Doll 2.
Why? What happened?
He touched me and
Yes.
his palm, they were so rough, and he was the first thing he brought us here, like a laborers. But how are they so soft, so sickly soft, like young girls?
I know. I've noticed something too.
What?
His stomach. It was so tight and muscular. Now,
Ah, now it's all loose.
do you think it will swell up too?
It'll it'll swell a little, then more. Doll
And
2.
more
And more, and
and more until
it's if it's a woman,
there'll be a child.
and if it's a man,
Like,
here comes a rider. What land does he come from? On his head a turban with a long pearly tail. Round his neck a garland of virgin white jasmines. In his fist a sword and diamond-studded hilt. The white-clad rider rides with a white charger which spreads his tossing mane against the western sky. Spreads its mane, its beakers against the western sky. Sleep now, my babies, and see the smiling dreams. And there comes. Here he is. From which land does he come? But why are jasmines on his chest red, oh so red? What shines in his open eyes? Pebbles or pebbles? Why is his young body cold or so cold? White horse gallops across hills, streams and fields. To what land does he gallop? Nowhere, oh nowhere. Halfway through the lullaby, oh, this was Devdutt, sorry. Devdutt comes in and sits by Padmini's side reading. They look at each other, and at the end of the lullaby, they fall asleep. Hey,
yes.
look, behind her eyelids, she's dreaming. It's still hazy, hasn't started yet. Do you see it now? A man. No, someone else. Yes, the same. But I couldn't see his face then. Who do you think it is? It's fading. Oh God, it's gone. Padmini.
Do I do it? Or
Yeah, Nandini.
yeah. Are you ill?
Why?
You're moaning in your sleep, Padmini.
What's that?
Aren't you feeling well?
Who, me? I'm fine.
What's wrong? Tell me.
Nothing. I went to the gymnasium yesterday morning, then went swimming.
To the gymnasium after all these years. But why?
I just felt like it. That's all. Don't go on about it.
Are you going again today?
No, I'm not. And there's no need to laugh. I know I've made a fool of myself by going there. I won't again.
Sir? Why doesn't it matter that you're going to the gymnasium? That I'm not going to be I won't let him come back. Kapila, his body beat fast still, and his face dark. And me?
There he is again. There he is again.
In the middle of the night.
I'm not sure if this is a usual visitor. This one looks rougher and darker.
Especially Aditya.
Yeah?
Okay. To the right. A little to the right. And see.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. It's not him. It's him. All right. Look at his face.
He goes to her.
Very near her.
What's he going to do now? What? But he's climbing a tree.
He's tied into a water, into the river.
Hey, is that all he came for?
It's
Going.
gone. Wretched demons, they just sticken and fade away.
Change, 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 change. The sand trickles, the water fills the pot, and the moon goes on swinging, swinging, swinging from light to darkness to light.
Devdutt.
A pandit's coming to see me. He wants me to explain some verses to him. Can you keep some sweets and lime juice ready?
Here, the maid was telling me
What?
Kapila's mother died this morning. Poor thing. She'd been bedridden for 18 years ever since.
What did you expect me to do about it? Get the lime juice ready soon.
Each one to his own fate.
Which one to her problems?
As the doll maker used to say, what are things coming to?
Especially last night. I mean, that dream.
Hey, no one should talk about such things.
It was so shameless.
I said be quiet.
Honestly, the way they.
Look, if we must talk about it, let me.
We didn't want to talk about it, so.
You don't understand a thing. They.
What do you know? Last night,
Let me. In dream.
Shut
up.
You shut up.
Okay. Yeah, Padmini.
Just look at the dolls. The babies really torn them to pieces. How can we go on with them? Listen!
Yes?
We must get new dolls for our babies. These are in tatters.
You're right. I hadn't noticed.
We've Jen Ferris to be held in another 4 days. Why don't you go and get new dolls there? If you start today, you'll be there in time. It's unlucky to keep torn dolls in a home.
Did you hear that? She wants to throw us out.
She wants new dolls.
The whore.
The bitch.
May her house burn down.
May her teeth fall out.
Alright.
See how he picks us up? Like stray puppies.
That ball of flesh will remain here, but it's the tongue deep for us.
It'll take me more than a week to go to a jail and come back. Shall I ask for one of the neighbors to get them for us?
You wretch! Before you throw us out, you watch out for yourself.
Cover your wife before you start worrying about our rags.
Who knows what sort of dolls they'll get for us? We must bring things ourselves for our baby.
But
if you don't want to go, just say so. Don't.
Shall I ask one of our servants to come and sleep here at night?
No need. We are not in the middle of a forest.
Gee, watch out, you fool.
You refused, you idiot.
Alright. I'll start at once. Take care of yourself.
Villain.
Rascal.
Swine.
Bastard.
My poor child. You haven't yet seen the witching fair of the dark forest, have you? Let's go and see it. How can I describe it to you? There's so much. Long before the sun rises, the shadows of twigs draw alpanas on the floor. The stars raise arti and go. Then the day dawns and the fun begins. The circus in the trees tops and cock fights in a shroud of feathers. And the dances, the tiger dance and the peacock dance and the dances with sun's little feet with silver anklets on the river. In the heart of the forest stands the stately chariot of the shield bearer. It's made of pure gold. Rows of birds pull it down the street, and rows of flames of the forest salute it with torches. Then the night comes, and our poor baby is tired. So we blow gently, and out goes the moon. But before we leave, there's one more thing to do. Right outside the fair, watching it from a distance, stands the tree of the fortunate lady. It's an old tree, a close friend of ours. You have to say hello to it, alright?
Oh, Kapila? Yash, are you here? Can you read?
Yes,
Yeah, do Kapila.
yes,
It's such a long time since we met.
yes.
Where are you now?
Here,
Here, in this jungle. It's difficult to believe any man could live here.
beasts do. Why not men?
What do you do?
Live
What have you had any news from the city?
long ago. Father sent word asking me to come back. I said I won't come. No need for you to come here either. That's all.
You mean you don't know father died last year? Also, your mother
No,
and Padmi has a son.
I see.
Why this anger, Kapila?
What anger?
Shows in the way you stand, you move.
All that is your poetry.
Kapila, Kapila. Okay, yeah.
You?
Yes,
Here.
my son had never laughed with the river, or shivered in the wind, or felt the thorn cut his skin. So I brought him woods.
You shouldn't have lost it this far.
The wrong road stuck to my feet. Wouldn't let go.
You shouldn't have lost it this far. Wild beasts, robbers, pathless paths, all sorts of dangers.
The villagers, and the pilgrims, and the hunters and the tribesmen. When there wasn't any when there wasn't any more, I asked myself. Everyone saw to it that I didn't lose the wrong road.
Is that your son?
And yours.
Mine?
Give him to me.
Mine? Not mine. I'm Kapila Padmini. I didn't accept it that day, but I accept it now. I'm Kapila.
And how's Kapil?
I spread my wings and kicked away the earth and flew up. I covered the seven continents, the 10 shores, and measured the sky. Now, because you have a child at your breast, a husband on your thighs, and the red rust on your lips of your late opening mouth, I pick a picture here, and they're a card of fate, and I live for the grace of a grain, an astrologer's bird.
Can I look at him?
That's what, sorry.
That's why I brought you.
What's wrong with me? You've come so far and I haven't even asked you to sit down. Why don't you go in and take a little rest? Why?
I don't need any rest.
How are you?
I'm well. No illness, problems, or difficulties.
Your son looks exactly like you.
He has the same mole on his shoulder.
What more?
This one, that's the only one you have on your shoulder.
Oh, I hadn't seen it. I don't much look at this body.
Do you despise it that much? Why have you tortured it so? When this went, you looked so soft, like a princess. These arms were so slender and fair. Why have you done this to yourself?
When this body came to me, it was like a corpse hanging by my head. It was a Brahmin's body after all, not made for the woods. I couldn't lift an axe without my elbows moaning, couldn't run a length without my knees howling. I had no use for it. The moment it came to me, a war started between us.
And who won?
I did.
The head always wins, doesn't it?
Fortunately, yes. Now I can run 10 miles and not stop for breath. I can swim through the monsoon floods and fell a banyan. The stomach used to rebel once, now it digests what I give. If I don't, it doesn't complain.
Must the head always win?
That's why I'm Kapila now. Kapila. Kapila with a face which fits his body.
What a good mix. No more tricks. Is this one that, or that one this? Do you remember the song we sang in the curry dinner?
So,
Nothing. I often remember it. It's almost my it's almost my autobiography. Kapila. Devdutt. Kapila with Devdutt's body. Devdutt with Kapila's body. Four men in one lifetime.
why have you come away from him?
What do you want me to say?
How could I make you understand? If Devdutt had changed overnight and had gone back to his original form, I would have forgotten you completely. But that's not how it happened. He changed day by day, inch by inch, hair by hair, like the trickling sand, like the water filling the pot. And as I saw him change, I couldn't get rid of you. That's what Padmini must tell Kapila. She should say more without concealing anything. Kapila, if that rishi had given me to you, would I have gone back to Devdutt someday exactly like this? But she doesn't say anything. She remains quiet.
Why have you come here?
I had to see you.
Why? Why? Why did you have to come just when I thought I'd won this long and weary battle? Why did you have to pursue me just when I had decided in uprooting these memories? I am Kapila now, the rough and violent Kapila. Kapila without a crack between his head and his shoulders. What do you want now? Another head? Another suicide? Listen to me. Do me a favor. Go back. Back to Devdutt. He is your husband, the father of this child. Devdutt and Padmini. Devdutt and Padmini. A pair coupled with the holy fire as the witness. I have no place there. No peace. No salvation. So go. I beg of you, go.
I will if you want me to.
Oh God,
Why?
nothing. Another memory. When I too was asked to go. Yes, go back. Now.
I will, but can I ask a little favor? My son's studying. He's asleep. He's been on my arms for several days now. Let him rest a while. As soon as he gets up, I'll go. Yes, you won, Kapil. Devdutt won too. But I sorry I came. I didn't think before starting. Couldn't. But at least until my child wakes up, sit here and look at me, have my heart filled for the rest of my life, I won't speak a word.
What does it matter now whether you stay or go? You've done the damage. I'd buried all those faceless memories in my skin. Now you've dug them up with your claws.
Why should one bury anything?
Why shouldn't one? Why should one tolerate this mad dance of incompleteness?
Whose incompleteness? Yours?
Yes, mine. One beats the body into shape, but one can't beat away the memories in it. Isn't that surprising? That the body should have its own ghosts, its own memories. Memories of touch, memories of a touch, memories of a body swaying in these arms, of a warm skin against memories which one cannot recognize, cannot understand, cannot even name because this head wasn't there when they happened.
Kapila.
Why did you come? You came, you touched me, you held my hand, and your touch. I have never touched you, but this body, this appendage, laughed and flowered out in a festival of memories to which I'm an outcast.
Poor Kapila.
Don't pity me.
Be quiet, stupid. Your body bathed in a river, swam and danced in it. Shouldn't your head know what river it was? What swim? Your head too must submerge in that river. The flow must rumple your hair, run its tongue in your ears, and press your head to its bosom. Until that's done, you'll continue to be incomplete. My Kapila. My poor, poor Kapila. How needlessly you've tortured yourself.
You cannot engrave on water nor wound it with a knife, which is why the river has no fear of memories. Oh shoot, what have I done? Okay, yeah. Where were we? Yeah. The river only feels the pull of the waterfall. She giggles and tickles the rushes on the top of the banks, then turns atop of dry leaves in the navel of the whirlpool, weaves a water snake in the net of silver strands in the green depths and frightens the frogs on the rug of moss, sticks, and bamboo leaves. Sings, tosses, and leaps, and sweeps into a rush, while the scarecrow on the bank has a face fading on his mud-pot head and a body torn with memories. Who? Devdutt?
Why does Kapila live here?
Well, anyway, how are you?
You don't want to tell me? Don't.
There, behind those trees.
How long has Padmini been here?
About 4 or 5 days.
Amazing. Even a man like me found the road hard. But how quickly she covered it. And with a child in her arms.
Devdutt. Devdutt moves on. There are only two words which make sense to him now: Kapila and Padmini. Kapila and Padmini, these words carry him along like a flood to the doorstep of Kapila's hut. But suddenly he stops. Until this moment, he's been yearning to taste the blood of Kapila. But now he is still and calm.
Come, Devdutt. I was waiting for you. I've been expecting you since yesterday. I've been coming out every half an hour to see if you'd arrived. Not from fear, only eager. You look exactly the same.
You too.
What's that?
Dolls. For the child. I came home from the fair. There was no one there, so I came here.
Come in and rest a while. They, there will always be time to talk later. Why are you angry?
Not anymore. Did my body bother you too much?
It wasn't made for this life. It resisted. It also had its revenge.
Did it?
Do you remember how I once used to envy you, your poetry, your ability to imagine things? For me, the sky was sky and the tree only a tree. Your body gave me new feelings, new words. I felt awake as I had never before. Even started writing poems. Very bad ones, I'm afraid. There were times when I hated it for what it gave me.
I I wanted your power, but not your wildness. You lived in hate. I in fear.
No, I was the one who was afraid.
What a good mix. No more tricks. Tell me one thing. You really love Padmini?
Yes,
So do I.
I know. Devdat, couldn't we all three live together? Like the Pandavas and Draupadi?
What do you think?
No, it can't be done.
That's why I bought this. That's why I brought this. What won't end has to be cut.
I got your body, but not your wisdom.
Where's your sword then?
A moment.
After sharing with Indra, his wife, his wine, his food, his jokes, I returned to the earth and saw from far a crack had appeared in the earth's face, exactly like Indra's smile.
Are you still in practice?
Of course not. You learned well. And you?
I learnt again. But one's older now, slower at learning.
You realize it's immaterial better with a sword now, don't you?
Yes, I do.
There's only one solution to this.
We must both die.
We must both die.
With what confidence we chopped off our heads in the temple. Now whose head? Whose body? Suicide or murder? Suicide or murder? Nothing's clear.
No grounds for friendship now. No question of mercy. We must fight like lions and kill the cobras.
Let our heads roll to the very ends with which cut them in the temple of Kali.
Like cocks in a pit, we dance, and he and I, foot woven with a foot, eye soldered to an eye. He knows and I know, all there's to be known. The witch's burning thirst burns for blood alone. Hence this frozen smile which cracks and drips to earth and claw knives and taking flesh for piecemeal death. The Rishi who said, knowledge gives rise to forgiveness, had no knowledge of death. Okay, yeah, Padmini.
They burned, lived, fought, embraced, and died. I stood silent. If I'd said, yes, I live with you both, perhaps they would have not, perhaps they would have been alive yet. But I couldn't say it. I couldn't say yes. No, Kapila, no. No, Devtar. I know it in my blood. You couldn't have lived together. You would have had to share not only me but your bodies as well. Because you knew death, but because you knew death, you died in each other's arms. You could have only, you could have only have lived ripping each other to pieces. I had to drive you to death. You forgave each other, but again, left me out.
What is this? It's a sight to freeze blood in one's own veins. What happened, child? Can we help you?
Yes, please. My son is sleeping in the hut. Take him under your care. Give him to the hunters who live in the forest and tell them it's Kapila's son. They lust couple and will bring the child up. Let the child grow up in the forest with the rivers and the trees. When he's 5, take them to the revered Brahmin Vidyasagar of Dharampur. Tell him it's Devdutt's son.
And you?
Make me a large funeral pyre. We are 3.
You mean you are performing sati? But why, child?
Give these dolls to my son. I won't see him. He may tempt me away from my path. Mother of all nature, you must have your joke even now. Other women can die praying that they should get the same husband in all lives to come. You haven't left me even that little consolation.
Our sister is leaving in a palanquin of sandalwood. Her mattress is studded with rubies which burn and glow. She is decked in flowers which blossom on tinder wood and whose petals are made of molten gold. How garlands leap and cover her face aflame with love. The fortunate lady's procession goes up on the street for laburnums, while while macarands tie the pendants and the jacarands hold the light. Goodbye, dear sister. Go you without fear. The Lord of Death will be pleased with the offering of 3 coconuts. And thus Padmini became a sati. India is known for its pativratas, wives who dedicated their whole existence to the service of their husbands. But would it not be an exaggeration to say that no pativrat went in the way Padmini did? And yet, no one knows the spot where she went sati. If you ask the hunting tribes who dwell in these forests, they will only point to the full blossom tree of the fortune lady. They say that even now, on the full moon and on the new moon nights, a song rises from the roots of the trees and fills the whole forest like a fragrance. I'm doing female chorus, sort of to female chorus.
Why should love stick to the sap of a single body when the stem is strung with the thick yearning of the many-petaled, many-flowered lantana? Why should it be tied down to the relation of a single flower? A head for each breast, a pupil for each eye, a side for each arm. I have neither regret nor shame. The blood pours into the earth and a song branches out in the sky.
What's that? Oh, Nata, our actor. Why is he running? Where's the national anthem? Actor 2, Yash. Oh no, wait, Bhupesh, sorry. Yeah. Bhupesh to actor 2.
The national anthem.
What?
How did you know?
No, what?
Please, Bhagwata, sir. How did you know
No, what?
about the national anthem?
What did you mean?
Please, sir, I beg of you. I implore you. Don't make fun of me. How did you know it was the national anthem?
Why? Haven't you seen an audience?
That Ram Ram.
Why? What happened?
What happened? Hurry, hurry. Look,
Why? What?
I almost died of fright.
Really?
I was coming down the road and I heard someone singing at the distance. At the top of his voice, he was singing, Jhanda Ucha Rahe Hamara. He started on Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindostan Hamara. Then rise my Kannada land. Then Vande Mataram.
And then?
I was baffled. A true patriot at this time of the night? I had to find out who it was. A house, a big, thick fence around, with not a gap in it. But I managed to find a hole to crawl through. It was just halfway in when I saw
What? Come on, what did you see?
a horse.
A horse?
Yes. It turned to me and in a deep, sonorous voice said, Friend, I'm now going to sing you the national anthem, so please stand up at attention.
Listen, Nata, are you sure?
I swear.
No, no, no. What I mean is, what's that now? Oh, Nata, you again. Okay, actor one. Sort of actor one.
Oh, sir, it's you.
Well, well, you live to be 100.
Why? What have I done?
I was just thinking of you and you turned up. Just now, this Nata was saying that he saw a horse-headed man, and I wondered if it was Hayavadan. So I remembered you.
Bhavata sir,
There's an actor's life fate in a nutshell. Nutshell for you. Always remembered for someone else.
Where's Hayavadan now? Has he come back?
I don't know, sir. He chased me away the moment we reached the Kali temple. Wouldn't let me stay there a minute longer.
Oh, I very much hope the goddess granted him what he wanted. Who's this child?
Him? Well, go on. Tell him.
Who are you, child? What's your name? Where are your parents?
You see, not a word. Children of this age should be out talking a dictionary, but this one doesn't speak a word. Doesn't laugh. Doesn't cry. Doesn't even smile. The same long face all 24 hours. There's obviously something wrong with it. See? No response, no reactions. When he grows up, he should be a good theatre critic.
Bhavata sir,
Where did you find him?
In a tribal village of hunters. On my way back, I had to stay a night there. And a tribal woman brought him to me, said, "This is not a child, this is from the city, take him back."
A child of this city? How strange. But these dolls?
I was about to warn you, whatever you do, don't touch his dolls. At any and other times he'll starve and freeze to death rather than say a word. But touch the dolls and he'll bear his thanks. He almost bit off my finger once.
Bhavata sir,
But Nata. Child, let me see your shoulder. No, 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 I won't touch the dolls. I promise you, just your shoulder. Nata!
Bhavata sir.
Yes.
Look, 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 the mole. It's Padmini's son. There's no doubt about it.
Padmini, which which
Bhavata sir,
Yes. Arey, why are you shouting?
I have been calling for you for the last half an hour.
Yes, yes, what's it?
You said I'd seen a horse-headed man. I didn't. What I saw was a complete man. Perfect. Proper. There it is.
Okay, who's doing Hayavadan? Nandini do Hayavadan.
Uh,
Horse and Hayavadan, yeah.
okay, huh. Tava karun Tava karunarun rage nidrit bharat jage Tava charane natamata jai 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 he jai Rajeshwara. Who, who? What's this? Mr. Bhagwat, sir? My active friend. Well. What a pleasant surprise. Delightful. How are you, sir? How are you?
It's not Hayavadan, is it?
Your most obedient servant, sir.
But what?
You mean you know this horse?
We're old friends,
fellow pilgrims.
but not fellow travelers. What?
The boy, okay, there's a boy now. Yash boy.
The horse is laughing. The horse is laughing.
The boy is laughing.
Why, my little friend, you may laugh, but I may not.
That's Padmani's son, Hayavadan.
Padmini, I am not aware of.
You don't know her. But this poor child, he hadn't laughed or cried or talked in all these years, and now you've made him laugh.
Delighted.
But tell me, you went to the goddesses to become a complete man, didn't you? What happened?
Ah, that's a long story. I went there, picked up a sword which was lying around, very unsafe. I tell you, put it on on my neck and said, Mother of all nature, if you don't help me, I'll chop off my head.
Then,
The goddess appeared. Oh,
Where are you
sorry.
from?
Yeah.
Oh, the goddess appeared. Where are you from? But looked rather put out. She said rather peevishly, I thought, why don't you people go somewhere else if you want to chop off your stupid heads? Why do you have to come to me? I fell at her feet and said, Mother, make me complete. She said, so be it, and disappeared. Even before I could say, make me a complete man, I became a horse.
Actor 1.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Sorry, whatever for? The goddess knew what she was doing, I can tell you that. Being a horse has its points. I have only one soul.
Yes?
I have become a complete horse, but not a complete being. This human voice, this cursed human voice, it's still there. How can I call myself complete? If I only could. What should I do, Bhagavata sir? How can I get rid of this human voice?
I don't know what to tell you, Hayavadana.
That's why I sing all these patriotic songs and the national anthem, that particularly. I have noticed that people sing national anthem very soon have given their voice. So I tried. But it doesn't seem to work. What should I do?
Don't cry, horse. Don't cry. Stop it now.
No, I won't cry. The boy's died. What's the point of shedding tears?
Don't cry. You look nice when you laugh.
No, I won't cry. I won't give up trying either. Come, little friend, let's sing the national anthem together.
What is that?
How could he? He's been brought up in a forest.
Then sing, then sing some other song. If you look, if you sing a song, I'll take you around on my back.
Yes, please.
Well then, what are you waiting for? Get on my back, quick.
Here. Here.
No, you sing first, then we start.
Sing, son.
Here comes a rider from what land, oh what land? On his head a turban. Sleep now, sleep now. By his chest, red or red. By his eyes, pebbles or pebbles. By his body, cool, oh cool. Where goes the horse? Nowhere, oh nowhere.
Mr. Bhagwata sir,
Yes?
it seems to me the rider described in this song is dead. I'm right?
I think so, yes.
Who could have taught this child such a tragic song?
Mother,
What's
Well,
there in the song?
what's there in a song, Hayavadana? The real beauty lies in the child's laughter, in the innocent joy of that laughter. No tragedy can touch it.
Is that so?
Indeed. What can match a child's laughter in its purity?
To be honest, Mr. Bhagwata sir, I have my doubts about this theory. I believe, in fact, I may go so far as to say I firmly believe that it's this sort of sentimentality which has been the bane of our nuclear and natural life. It has kept us from accepting reality and end up escapism. Still, if you say so, I won't argue. Come, child, let's have another song.
I don't know.
Then sing the same song again.
You laugh first.
Laugh again? Let me try. No, it's not easy to laugh just like that.
Laugh, laugh.
All right, I'll try again.
What's that? Hayavadana? Hayavadana! Okay, his voice has changed now. Careful, careful, don't drop the child. But the horse is too happy to listen. He prances around, neighing and gleefully. The boy is also enjoying himself, singing bits of song and urging the horse on. So long at last, Hayavadana has become complete. You do go and tell Reverend Brahmin Vidyasagar of this that his grandson is returning home in triumph riding a big white charger.
And they don't?
Throw them away. There's no further need for them. Unfathomable is indeed this Mercy of the elephant headed Ganesh. He fulfills the desire of us all. A grandson to a grandfather, a smile to a child, a neigh to a horse. How indeed can one describe his glory in our poor disabled words? Come, Havadan, come. Enough of this dancing. Our play is over. It's time that we all prayed and thanked the Lord for having ensured the completion and the success of our play. Havadan comes and stands by the Bhagavat. The Bhagavat helps the child, and at this point of the curtain, with the fire painted on it, which has been there all the time, is dropped. Padmini, Kapila, and Devdutt step forward and join Bhagavata in prayer. Grant us, O Lord, good rains, good crop, prosperity in poetry, science, industry, and other affairs. Give the rulers of our country success
Success
in all
in
endeavors, and along with it, a little bit of sense.
sense.
So that was the play, guys. Wow.
I really liked it. I really liked
My goodness, this was a fun play.
Oh,
So, guys, parting thoughts. We have time till 7 p.m. and then I'll wrap it up. But yeah, whoever wants to go first, whatever you guys thought about the play, please feel free to share.
I don't know what to say.
I thought Nandini's just turned into a horse, so she can't talk now.
yeah. So I'll start. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Saurav.
Okay. So I like some parts where Girish sir has kept some funny elements. That's like because mythology can be really boring. Okay. And I love like yes, kind of thou shall entertain, and he has. Oh, one of the more things it was uh, sometimes we think that our body will win, or should we act as per the body, or should we act as per the mind? And उसमें था ना कि why should the mind always win, and why should the
Hmm.
body that was good like sequence where to kind of even though he has like those exposition. Sorry if I'm I don't know if theater में exposition को क्या scene है, but he has used it fairly. ऐसा नहीं कि
Hmm.
इसका
Hmm.
and I have one question. This was like a play within a play, right?
I think, matlab, I feel like what Bhagwat did was just like it was a more of a device, I feel, not a, मतलब, it wasn't जैसे AK versus AK नहीं चल रहा था यहाँ पे कि वो कुछ और ही चल रहा है, but what I felt was, no, I think he was also, even in Evam Indrajit, like sometimes they just like break the fourth wall. This was just fourth wall breaking, I feel. उससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं था, मतलब it wasn't a separate play they were working on or something. So yeah,
Disagree. I think it was a play. I strongly feel like there was a play that was actually happening because there were actors involved, right?
hmm,
And I do think that they were preparing for a play, and there was some sort of an interruption that happened because like everyone just randomly walks in, and
hmm,
then this then Bhagwat is like he gets himself involved in solving Hevadan's problem, right? And at the end, we see that all of these things are weirdly connected. The boy comes and it turns out that he's actually Padmini's son, right? And the boy
hmm,
is real, so he isn't a character in the play. So I think it's like Bhagwat. I feel like Bhagwat was narrating a story, and somehow his events around his real life also came to be linked with that particular story.
hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Like मैंने बीच में थोड़ा सा छूट ही गया था मेरा कि like है within और स्टोरी के बीच में, तो आई थॉट कि भागवत इज लाइक कुछ कहानी सुना रहे उनके Sunaira Hevadan ko, that he starts to like accept himself.
I think it was a play, the cake and the play. That
और मे बी जैसे स्टोरी और देखो एक ज़माने में ऐसा हुआ करता था तो जैसे होता है ना बड़े बड़े बुजुर्ग सुनाते हैं वैसे
हो सकता है. I think that will require some like reading up about, which I'll do and I'll post it on the group. So
yeah,
don't worry
exactly.
about that. And yeah, anything else? Yeah, Bhupesh, Yash, what did anything which jumped out to you guys?
So
How
I
did you enjoy it? Whatever you have to say.
Yes. So to add on to what all of you said, I believe that it was a sort of Bhagavad reciting a folk tale. So ऐसे रहता है ना that one generation या आप कहीं से तो सुनते हो story and then you just keep on reciting. You just share. So I believe Bhagavad came to know about this what has happened in someone's life and the entire story, and he was narrating it through a play. And during that, um, one of his actors accidentally finds the boy, Padmini's kid, and that's why he was so startled because he was enacting the play. He was talking about their life, and a fragment of their life just landed in front of him. So yeah.
Hmm. Makes sense. Makes sense. And anything else? I mean, apart from whether it's a play in a play or not, any other themes, any other like basically any character, any scene, any line, any like idea which this spurred.
I was trying to think. I mean, all I was trying to think of the original mythological
yeah
deities or whatever you want to call them.
Hmm.
These characters have been inspired by. There was a mention of Indra somewhere, right?
Huh. Huh. Huh.
Indra and the child of Indra or something
Hmm.
like that. And we've all heard these names: Devdutt, Padmini, and Kapila, and whatnot. So I was at a point. I even thought that maybe right when Devdutt cut himself, I thought maybe somewhere further down the play, Havadan is Devdutt or some
Hmm.
horse like
Hmm.
the concept of Ganesha.
Hmm.
Maybe that's how it will turn out to be. But it was quite interesting to see how it actually turned out to be.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So that was
even I
interesting.
thought of that particular thing that maybe Heaven is
Yeah,
actually Devdutt because he got
actually
his head
Devdutt.
chopped off and now like he used a horse's head or something like that.
Yeah, and like that's what I also sort of liked about this play. It feels like it's a very contemporary play, but it's written about
Yeah,
like these
exactly.
mythological characters. मतलब माँ काली आ रही है, and you've literally made माँ काली say that. मतलब I was yawning
Yeah,
because I've been up because these people keep shouting and they don't stop. So I've got time to sleep now. I'm like, what? That was
sounded like
hilarious.
Kapil anyway. It didn't sound
Yeah,
like God
yeah.
actually.
And
I
she's
didn't want to
yawning.
believe that he says that he was
He was
shocking.
calling out all the devotees. She was like, because of you guys, I couldn't sleep. Now that I'm getting rest, you're chopping her head off. And
Yeah.
it's about Kali was at the end where she told Padmini to place the heads and then just with the sword near the neck. And when she switched the faces, so Kali just had one thing to say. So it was a bit nuanced, but it portrayed really well the truth as to what Padmini actually wanted. She wanted Kapila's body and
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah,
Devdutt's face.
Hmm.
exactly. Exactly. So yeah,
Very
this
true.
is exactly what I also thought. In fact, I draw this analogy between what Krishna was to Mahabharat is probably what Kali was to Padmini. So she
um,
knew that this is what Padmini would say. Um,
hmm.
I इस गायत्री मंत्र कहाँ पे बन रहा है?
वो हमारे डोरवेल में
मस्त है मस्त है.
Yeah. So anyway, yes. So yeah, I think deep down Kali knew, like since she was a goddess and all, she knew कि भाई this is what Padmini wants, and I think she created a situation where ultimately she maybe somehow caused that mix up, right? कि
Hmm.
Padmini से वो mix up हो जाए, and ultimately maybe she was trying to teach her a lesson on morality or something of that sort, because I do feel that there was also infidelity involved. Where I
Hmm.
did like Padmini was lusting after Kapila, right?
Right.
And I think Kali somewhere wanted this woman to realize or to face the consequences of her this thing, of her moral deviation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. And like, that's what I feel that, like, because whenever you have characters of gods in place, it tends to become very, one-dimensional, where like God is divine and they say the right thing and well, because they know everything, they know like future, present, past, all of that is like that's their creation in a way. So, बहुत बड़े मतलब those characters just become like you can't relate to them but by employing these very humane characteristics to the gods and at the same time the gods also like so Kali is yawning but at the end of the day she's Kali like it's not that she's not Kali and it's like a rip-off of Kali she is Kali and like I love that that balance of having a humane trait but still maintaining your identity of the god because like imagine if like she knew the future she knows everything and she's still doing that and in the middle there was some dialogues also where she just casually says some things oh like like sort of like telling them about the future so like that seemed like very like cool that's what we get to see now in like most of these movies where in some movies people from the future come and tell you oh this is going to happen like Tenet ho gaya ye ho gaya like lot of movies so that's so that's fascinating and like I liked the I don't know man there's so many themes about this play which I've really liked one theme again was the mind and body and like how it that like after a point of time like whatever the mind is like the body just becomes that like so that just shows like literally like your body is a representation of your mind because it's been with your mind for so long that now it's this so that was pretty cool.
And that you can make what like how you want it to be. Like
Yeah.
Devdat, he did what जो body भी कराया पहले, then he
Hmm.
gained control, and then he did, and then
Kapila.
what Kapila, like Kapila built his body up according to his needs.
Hmm.
They both accepted themselves.
Yeah, and I
Yeah, she
I
was
was
saying something.
actually oh
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah okay I can't hear you.
Yeah,
You're
sure.
breaking up, Yash.
Acha, chalo. Till Yash joins, yeah. Nandini, you were saying?
Yeah, the whole mind body thing. So during the play, when they were all like confused by up kya types and like we have to go to a stage and we're gonna have to ask
Hmm.
things. I don't know. I was also very deeply. I started to ponder. He's back.
Yash, are you back? Kuch bolo?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead. You were saying?
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. Nandini, you were saying something.
Oh, do you want me to finish or do you want me to?
Chalo, Nandini,
No, no, you can go.
yeah, Nandini finish off and then we'll come back to Yash.
Yeah. So while I was like reading the play, I actually drifted off and I started thinking about what exactly makes one a person. So who would if I had been Padmini, how would I have perceived or how would I have gauged who is actually my husband? Because I
Hmm.
started to think about mind, body, person wala pura distinction, right? So what
Hmm.
makes you a person? Is it ultimately your body or is it your mind? Or what constitutes your mind? Is it your heart? Is it your brain? I don't know. So yeah,
Hmm.
I started to drift off and I started to ponder upon these questions. I don't know. Yeah, it was quite interesting.
Yeah, Yash.
Yeah, so I really like the play of the mind and the body. Even though the switch happened, the essence or the muscle memory was still there in that particular body.
Hmm.
So when that said that I was unconsciously just wrestling and I just took all of my pinned the wrestler. So that our mind is not the only brain that we have. The second brain of ours is in the gut, and it is really important to have your mind and your body in unison where that's where you actually function according to your own needs.
Hmm.
So that's what happened to Devdutt also. Even though that body was not his, he made it its own, made it his own by practicing what he actually practices. And the same goes for Kapila.
Right.
Sir,
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Any other theme
Yeah,
or
I would
interesting?
like to add to Nandini
Yeah.
that there is like I'm from DCTC Delhi College Theatre Circuit. तो उसमें ना हमारी एक मतलब हमारी नहीं एक टीम है मेट कॉलेज की उनका एक प्ले देता नहीं इट वाज ऑन trans like trans it was on transgenders उसमें वो कहते हैं ना कि the gender is not in a pants it is in a like it is a choice ठीक है and if I'm born a man then and but if I choose like to be as a girl I'm sorry if I'm if I'm not putting it out right but if I choose to be a girl or act as a girl then it is my choice and I can do that it's just
Right.
not my gender is not in my mind
Hmm.
so that's the same thing like yeah body and mind ka.
Yeah.
That also applies on our choice of gender or our sexuality and all those things.
That's true. That's very true. Like I feel like wait, this is a very interesting theme of the like I think if we had to pick like one overarching theme of this play, it would be like duality.
yeah,
So that's just one of the best like उससे ज़्यादा universal theme और कुछ होता नहीं है मतलब then तो you can just it's one of the best most universal things which and it's a very interesting play like I feel they've uh, they've done justice to it. I liked the characters how they developed and I loved the way you guys read it honestly और सबके साथ मज़ा आ गया मेरे को पढ़ के आज तो I think Aritra was not here but even he was wonderful so yeah मेरे को तो काफ़ी मज़ा आया and I think this was a good play to get back in our play reading sessions now. So I'm planning on doing every one like Saturday again by 4 to 7 and we'll wrap it up. And yeah, let's just have like meet up once a week, read a play, and then go our own ways. No pressure, no load. If you're into like honestly, sometimes also depends on the play. I mean, and also sometimes people have commitments, but yeah. So करते हैं मज़ा आया मेरे को ये वाला पढ़ के thank you so much, guys, for joining in for this one. And I shall see you for the next week's reading. If you have any interesting play in mind, please post it on the group. I would love to, like, I genuinely ask people कि तुम लोग को जो पढ़ना है वो भी मेरे को बताओ सिर्फ मेरे को नहीं करना है कि ये this is because I picked this so I'm going to read this like any play you guys have in mind please okay so yeah
totally. I mean,
Thank
this was such an irony. You know why? Because the other day I was attending the Prithvi Theatre Festival, FESPO, and
oh
I got connected with Bhupesh over there. And we were chatting on Instagram, and I told him let's meet for a play read once a week or so. And then he just sent me your post about the play. So I was like, oh man, wonderful way things work out.
हाँ यार मैं तो I'm happy that like this happens and I all like this started in the lockdown and it's going well. I'm planning on like continuing this just like perpetually now. It's a fun way to it's good exercise I feel just for actors personally but also you get to like 3 घंटे में you already we downloaded an entire universe into our brains. That's so cool.
Cool.
Productive session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And yeah, chalo, thank you guys for joining in. Let's meet next Saturday. And yeah, you guys can leave now. I'm ending the meeting. Chalo, bye bye.
Yes.
Bye.
So
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.